What do you think about the first months of Donald Trump? Were you for Donald Trump?
Well, I
Did you support his election, or were you happy when he was elected? And how would you judge his first steps nationally? How do you see it within the US and internationally about the Middle East, about the war, Russia, Ukraine, about the trade question, which is a big question with Europe, with China, with
yeah,
India recently?
yeah. Well, America was slightly in that position I just described as Europe as being in. America was slightly in that position of managed decline in the Biden years. No one really knew who was running the country, and there were not cabinet meetings from one year to the next, and that was deeply troubling. There seemed to be no agenda. President Trump arrived in office for his second term with a huge agenda. I mean, really running from the start, which is not just unusual for him, but is unusual for any presidency, because the nature of American politics is that you spend years campaigning to get into office. If you get into office, you need a break. Then you have an inauguration, and then you sort of slowly get going. President Trump realized, having done this before, that you can't afford any downtime like that. And so from the first day in office, really, he has had a very clear agenda, which he's seeing through. I think it's, whatever criticisms anyone has, I think it's energizing that this is the case. There are lots of criticisms that, people can make, but you know what Trump wants to do, partly because he says it. And sometimes people say to me, how do you know the president's going to do this, that, or the other? And I say, he doesn't keep anything a secret. If he says he's going to do something, he does it.
He said he can change the deep state, or he can. Probably it was one of the big experiences of his first term that
Yes.
you are in power, but the power under you is very strong and can defeat you. He recognized it, and I think why he started so quickly, why he was so powerful, and why he was basically the first day with the big pen signing the different documents is showing that I arrived,
Yes.
and now I change it. Now
Yes.
I have more people, I'm not alone, and my 20.
Yes. Well, that's...
Can he do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely he can. Then that's the big difference between Trump 1 and Trump 2. Trump 1, I think, I'm not being unfair in saying that it was rather a surprise to everyone that he won. He would, I think, deny that.
Have you been were you surprised?
In Trump 1,
Yeah.
I think the world was surprised. Yes, I didn't think he could pull it. I didn't have a strong view either way, but I was surprised that he pulled it off. I watched for 4 years as he walked into every imaginable headwind and was very impressed that he managed to survive that. A lesser leader would have been blown over by any one of those winds that blew. But Trump, too, he knows what was coming at him. And I think also at another level, it's, that one of the advantages he has in this term is that what you describe as the deep state, or almost the state, has to a great extent reconciled itself with the fact that this has happened. It's one of the things that was very important about his mandate last year was that, remember 2016, his opponents did what they did with George W. Bush and constantly implied that he was an illegitimate president, or said he was an illegitimate president. And they fought and fought. They did Russia. They did all these claims. the election last year was so clear that those people had to pass through the denial stage of their grief. And to a great extent they have. And you can see that in DC, that they've accepted that he is the president. And that was not the case in Trump 1. This is, and this is why, of all the challenges he has, one of the most important things for Trump is he has to show that he can be successful in the policies that he's promised the American people. And I think so far he's done very well on that. I mean, for instance, he had to show that he could actually do deportations of violent illegals. And he's doing it. If he'd have failed, or if he does fail, that's deadly, because America would slide into the hopelessness that much of Europe is in. But if he shows that it can work, not only does it give hope for the American people, but it would give hope, I think, for the European people as well, that we can make decisions at the ballot box, and our leaders will act on them, and that our future success could occur.
So it's a hope for democracy?
I think so. I remember when Matteo Salvini was foreign minister, interior minister in Italy some years ago. And I said, him in a meeting, that it was striking to me that the policy he was running on was the deportation of illegals in Italy. And I think at that point it was about 1 million people. It's always 1 million, by the way. The numbers are all crooked. But, and I remember saying, but how are you going to do it? And I think Europeans have had this fatalistic view about the migration issues and other things for a long time. But Donald Trump has actually done it. He's started to do it. He's not done it entirely. But now, if you can reverse a bad policy like the open borders policy, then it gives hope to everyone. And if you can show that you can, it goes back to this thing that can tomorrow be better than today? Can we say our best days are ahead of us? In America, Donald Trump has been able to say that. And a lot of the American people want that. They want America's best days to be ahead of them. And I think a great challenge for us in Europe is, can anyone really say that with a straight face? Or will we keep having political leaders who just want to manage our decline? I'd like to see our best days ahead of us. I'd like to see us thrive in Europe. I say us, Britain, Europe. I'd like to see us thrive. I think we have wonderful countries, wonderful democracies, wonderful culture, the best culture. And if we could actually have politicians who believe in making tomorrow better for us in Europe, in a practical sense, in a financial sense, in a cultural sense, this would be amazing. But we have to get rid of the people who think merely that their job is to cope with the European people, to tolerate us.